Good afternoon, everyone. We would now like to start this session. The theme of this time's forum is initiatives that support adolescents. We will open this session with the video message of welcome from Governor of Tokyo, Koike Yuriko.
Hello, everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Tokyo and to the second Tokyo Global Forum on Children. I'm delighted to have even more cities participating this year. Children are our greatest treasure, and the smiles of children mean hope for the future. To realize a society that puts children first, Tokyo has been working earnestly on child-oriented policies from the perspective of children. This year, I assumed the role of the chair of the OECD Champion Mayors for Inclusive Growth, an international network that represents the voices of cities. Through the OECD network, I look forward to sharing with the world various types of advanced policies being implemented by Tokyo and leading discussions aimed at resolving common challenges faced by the world's cities. We all want children to grow up happy and healthy. Leaders of cities, such as myself, are especially determined to make a difference in this area precisely because cities are at the front line of addressing issues that directly affect residents' daily lives. This is a tremendous responsibility. This forum, which was launched last fiscal year, provides an invaluable opportunity to share knowledge and gather insights in order to accelerate initiatives by cities that contribute to a future where all children can grow up happy and healthy. The theme of this year's forum is initiatives that support adolescents. And discussion this time will further explore topics such as adolescent mental health. Adolescent mental health issues are increasing worldwide. Unfortunately, the number of child suicides is rising in Japan as well, making the implementation of further countermeasures an urgent priority. In addition to suicide prevention measures being implemented in partnership with schools in January 2025, Tokyo launched an online service that allows children to casually discuss their worries and troubles in a chat format. We look forward to hearing about various policies being implemented by your cities. And we hope that Tokyo's policies can serve as a reference for your cities in the future. I hope that this will be a fruitful forum for everyone in attendance. Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。
And next, we would like a few words from Ms. Fujiwara Tomoko, Director General Administrator Secretariat of the Children and Families Agency of the Government of Japan.
Everyone, I am Tomoko Fujiwara, Director General of the Administrator's Secretariat, Children and Families Agency of Japan. It is a great pleasure to meet you all at this significant opportunity, bringing experts and practitioners from all over the world. And I'd like to thank the Tokyo Metropolitan Government for hosting this important forum. Taking this opportunity, I'd like to briefly introduce several key initiatives being implemented by the government of Japan. First, I would like to introduce the Children and Families Agency, which is now approaching its third anniversary since establishment. Although it is small in scale compared to other government organizations with 500 staff, it bears the significant responsibility of serving as the command post for children-related policies. At the same time, Japan enacted the Basic Act on Children's Policy based on the spirit of UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. One symbolic initiative called Ike Plus reflects children's and young people's voices in policy making. About 4,000 children and young people participate and their opinions are incorporated into various government policies. Fortunately, many participants say that they feel respected and empowered by this process. This initiative not only supports adolescents, but also allows us, the government, to learn directly from children and young people's perspectives. Next, I would like to speak about our initiative on Ibasho. This is a place where one feels comfortable, safe, and accepted for children and young people. In December 2023, the government decided the general principles to child-related measures with the guideline for the creation of Ibasho for children by cabinet, and is promoting the development of Ibasho. Our research suggests that the more Ibasho for children, the higher their sense of self-esteem, and that being able to choose a diverse range of such places of their own freely will lead to the ability to act proactively over the long term. Our agency supports local governments which are familiar with the conditions in their communities so that they can work with private organizations such as NPOs to create suitable spaces for children. We believe that enabling children to have places in their communities where they can be themselves and spend time safely and with peace of mind is extremely important for their well-being. Mental health is another critical issue during adolescence. Japan is implementing the Child Mental Health Care Network program to address a wide range of children's mental health issues, including the psychological care of abused children and support for developmental disabilities. Centered on core hospitals with child psychiatrists in each prefecture, the project aims to build coordinated support systems in collaboration with medical institutions and health and welfare-related organizations. Currently, 22 municipalities are participating in this initiative, and we are working toward creating a society where all children can grow up healthy, both mentally and physically. Last year, young staff of our agency launched the project to listen to children's concerns, and our minister invited private businesses such as drugstores, convenience stores, and beauty salons to help connect children with support services. Next, it is extremely important for children and young people to reflect on who they are and how they wish to live, to make proactive choices about their future paths, to hold dreams and hopes for their future lives and careers, and to acquire the abilities and attitude necessary for social independence. To this end, based on the national curriculum guideline, the Ministry of Education is promoting systematic and planned career guidance to enable children to make independent choices about their future paths. In addition, from the elementary school level onward, Ministry of Education encourages the effective use of experiential learning, such as workplace experiences or internships. Finally, I'd like to speak about comprehensive youth policy. Adolescence is a critical transition period, yet support often becomes fragmented due to age boundaries. Young people who leave school or experience family conflict are especially vulnerable to social isolation, and the difficulties are often hard to detect. Recognizing this, our agency will fully launch a comprehensive youth policy starting this year. This policy is built on 4 pillars: listening to real voices, connecting with young people, providing support, and co-creating society together. As a first step, we will conduct a large-scale survey of 100,000 young people to better understand their real situations and needs and to design more effective policies. Respect for human rights and the protection of both physical and mental health are essential for every country, regardless of age. Through these initiatives, and by drawing on the proactive efforts of Tokyo as well as cities around the world, the Japanese government will continue to listen to the voices of children and young people and actively advance child-related policies. I'm looking forward to hearing fruitful discussion at today's upcoming sessions. Thank you very much for your attention. ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, Ms. Fujiwara. We would like a few words from Ms. Suzuki Aya, a Senior Vice Rector, United Nations University.
Distinguished guests, speakers, and colleagues. My name is Aya Suzuki, and I have the honor of serving as the Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations and Senior Vice Rector of the United Nations University. UNU is the United Nations academic arm, an internal think tank, and it is headquartered here in Tokyo. It is a privilege to join you today for the second Tokyo Global Forum on Children. In my work as a development economist, I have seen time and again that a nation's futures and economic well-being is fundamentally linked to the well-being of its children and young people. Allow me to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government for organizing this important event. By bringing together experts in child-focused policymaking from around the world, Tokyo Metropolitan Government demonstrates the transformative power of international cooperation. This year's forum focuses on adolescence, a stage of extraordinary potential when young people begin shaping their identities and their futures. I myself, being a mother of 2 teenagers, I truly understand the importance of this period. At the same time, adolescence is also a period of significant vulnerability. According to a UNICEF report published last year, around 40% of Gen Z adolescents and young adults worldwide experience challenges related to mental health. Behind the statistics are countless individual stories of hardship, uncertainty, and isolation. In J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, the protagonist imagines himself catching children before they fall off from a cliff. This familiar metaphor reminds us of our shared responsibility to create systems and communities that protect young people. No adolescent should slip through the cracks, and every young person should have the opportunity to thrive. The work we undertake today builds on the fundamental international commitments that guide our efforts. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which has been ratified by 196 countries, affirms that every child has the right not only to survive, but also to develop, learn, and live in safety and dignity. At UNU, the well-being of children and adolescents is integrated across our global research and training activities. Our institutes work on a wide range of related issues, including creation of healthy environments, the development of sustainable and inclusive communities, and the improvement of access to healthcare, education, and digital opportunities. Here in Tokyo, we also strive to serve as a bridge between young people in Japan and the United Nations system. In line with the vision of the Pact for the Future and the Declaration of Future Generations, we seek to bring the UN closer to the young people and to ensure that their voices are heard on the international stage. Our partnership with the Tokyo Metropolitan Government reflects this commitment. Over the past year, we have welcomed students from 23 high schools across Greater Tokyo area, offering them an introduction to UNU and the global issues we work to address. In addition, UNU's rector, Professor Chiliti Marwara, contributes a monthly article of 中学生の基礎英語, which is a textbook, English textbook for junior high school students in Japan, allowing UNU to reach adolescents throughout Japan at an important stage in their development. As we move into today's discussions, which cover topics ranging from career paths to mental health, let us remember that this forum is not simply a theoretical exchange. It is a first step toward meaningful and sustained action. The choices we make must reflect our collective duty to support the well-being of young people everywhere. The well-being of young people is not a luxury. It is an essential foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable future. With this in mind, I wish you a productive and inspiring forum. I look forward to the ideas and collaborations that will emerge from our time together. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Ms. Suzuki. And we will now have our keynote presentation by Mr. Kinoshita Isami, Chair of the CFCI Committee, Japan Committee for UNICEF.
Hi, everyone. So, please excuse my rudeness wearing a hat because my wife strongly suggested, don't take off your hat, yeah, because your hair is so thin and stick to head. It's unsightly. That's ugly, yeah. That's because therefore I am always wearing a hat. This became a kind of a symbol or one of my identity. Identity is a keyword, one of the keywords of my presentation this time. And thank you very much for giving me such kind of opportunity to share my idea with you. And so this time it's about, this one. So preventative and promotive adolescents' mental health, titled Third Place and Social Inclusion Programs for Adolescents to Overcome Identity Crisis. Okay, start. So at first, as a background, I can say here. Okay. So why adolescent suicide is high in Japan? So among these 7 countries, this is a suicide rate compared with other countries of these 7. And so Japan is red from this side. So Japan, such a suicide is the leading cause of adolescents of death. Yeah. And recently, a few days ago, government reported last year that also one more. It was very difficult to see that one to indicate. How can I manage? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have to see, but I want to share that. So looking together with you. Yeah. It's very difficult. Okay. So more and more such increasing such a suicide, especially senior high school. Why? So and WHO report and UNICEF together with WHO has identified adolescent mental health as an important issue and has provided guidelines on how to address it. 3 important factors. Yeah. The first one suggested resilience. So for resilience, outdoor play is very important. Later, I will talk about it. The second, the support system. And the third, environment. What kind of support system and environment? How do you think about it? Listen. So as a framework, I set this diagram. And quoting E.H. Erickson, so already such a very famous analysis. And identity is important for human development and also for peaceful and tranquil society and human security, as he analyzed Mahatma Gandhi's adolescent period, stage 5 of human development, as a primary period for identity. And identity crisis are an inevitable part of adolescent growth in identity cohesion and role confusion. To overcome identity crisis, we set 3 important factors. So for support system and environment, the first one, spatial place, place belonging, as Fujiwara-san told, the ibasho and so on. Yeah, third place. And the second, social capital or human network. And the third, IT media literacy. The important, this is more and more important under today's society, AI and so on, such IT technology advancing such kind of world. So then next, rebellious phase or adolescence. In Japan, the term hankoki, the rebellious phase, is used more than the term adolescence. So how is your country? Are there any country who also use rebellious phase rather than adolescence? Please raise a hand. No, yeah, exactly. Japan is more such kind of word. And so also AI I asked, how is the Western countries? So the result is like that. Yeah, Western countries use adolescent. It means youth perspective. Japan is adult perspective. And so individualism and autonomy, identity is so. Japan is more negative. So that's a more positive. Because previously, and adolescent, and there is a troublemaker, long time ago, 100 or more than 100 century. Like such a famous research by Frederick Rushers, the title Gang. It's not a real gang. The teenagers group, they fought each other. So, such kind of so. And this film, do you know? So, Rebel Without Cause. James Dean. When I was adolescent, he was my hero. Do you know James Dean? Do you know this film? Oh, good. But at the university, when I asked the student, no one knows. It's a very pity, And yeah, that's so that time also. I watched this movie, skipping school, when came to Tokyo. I'm countryside, and watch this. That's what made. Also, beforehand, east of Eden. Yeah, that's it. And he became my hero. That's very sympathy at that time. So also rebel without a cause. Happened to me. So then I organized a research project. Such a kind of social capital and local spaces that support young people during adolescent crisis. That is a research topic. And we conducted the online research survey, asking 1,000 people of 20s. The result is like this. So the first question, did you have a rebellious phase? It was shocking. 1.5 answered they didn't have such a rebellious phase. Yeah. And correlation with outdoor play also show high correlation. No outdoor play, no rebellious phase. And also, such a participation in environmental improvement. Also, correlation is high. And also, IT literacy. That time to check the website, only one time that many different engines on the sites. Also, no rebellious phase. So only one site information. So how that rebellious phase is an inevitable feature of the human development that should be shared. And next is about the third place of the question. What kind of place they relax other than home and school? The answer is sort of cafe, fast food, restaurant, cram school, and such kind of place of what? Student center, youth center is eighth. So such a youth center, the public facility of youth gathering place are there different types of places, depending on local municipality students and policies. So different type and specialized or youth center, youth house update. Type B, extension of child center. Type C, comprehensive facility, children's comprehensive. Type D, complex. For instance, library plus third place. Type E, partially of community center in the school. And type F, independent, free school, free space. That's all. Maybe more in your country. Some images of them. In Japan, youth center is not so popular, but recently some local governments have begun to set up centers in response to the Convention of Child Rights. For the management youth center, youth are taking part in the management committees. Youth Suginami is the first case to be built under this policy. Yeah. At that time for establishing, I have collaborated. And this is a Kawasaki Yume Park comprehensive facility, together with the adventure playground. And the complex of other facilities, for instance, Chiba City Kibor. I organized the first Asian Pacific Regional Conference about child-friendly cities here. Children made a song of this conference, the power to the children. It was nice, and such teenagers, so on. And this was the recent after the disaster of Fukushima, and high school. High school, five high schools went closed, and the new school, and the Futaba Future School, and then one part is a Future Lab, is a third place, managed by NGOs. And the year U Suginami opened, there was a lot of discussion about the need for facilities for young people triggered by a shocking crime committed by a 15-year-old boy. 2 children were murdered and 3 injured. One boy of primary school, 5th, his head was cut and set on the gate of the primary school. It's so shocking crime. And and after that, I visited this area. And the committee people discussed together what happened. And the reason why is such. And they also empowered such kind of communication with the young people, and the intergenerational communication was advanced, and now so they are trying to do such kind of places for children and youth and so on. Yeah, that the social capital has increased. And the disaster, also after the disaster, sometimes it became an opportunity to create such kind of place for young people. Because mostly that volunteers and NPOs came from outside to support. And this case is after the Great East Japan earthquake, 2011 it happened. And this one adventure playground. And now the committee people is managing. And it was fascinating. Recently I visited. Now it's managed by committee. And this became the place for elderly also. And a kind of free space, the children who don't go to school. So different age, also infant, morning. So different ages. Generation are coming, and it was a fantastic adventure playground. And also this has a grass house, the same place, and so elders are coming, and that's such. And also, was that kind of non-profit organizations managing free space and cafe and so on. Yeah. Youth Center, its origin might be YMCA in 1844, UK. But today's type may be after the World War II, developed from Scandinavian and German model. These photos are from the case of British Columbia State in Canada. This model might be from open youth work in Germany, Scandinavian model managed by the participation of youth, and the British model as a kind of community center. From my experience visiting different types of youth center, most important is youth worker and programs like this, and participation, making skateboard park, the skateboarders leading this communication. After that, management also, and the guys such kind supporting and teaching small children. Like that, such a soft program, the communication is very important. And also, social participation through play from childhood is important. This is a mini Munich. Often I have been visiting. My friends is managing. Plentiful role of model here you can see. which adolescents can meet through their experience from childhood. For instance, for instance, this is one of such kind of mini Munich city office, department, building department. And this Anna is supporting. She was previously came this Munich and became an architect and supporting. Such kind of role model, yeah, here you can see everything. This is a fantastic program. And also, this is a unique third place for adolescents. When I visited my friend Adrian Sinclair living in Leeds, and he is managing the youth radio station, and I visited in 2011. Therefore, I was asked to talk about Great East Japan earthquake disaster. And so this studio, it was fantastic. Many children, youth are managing at first interview. And this girl made the scenario. And in the studio, and air MC, mixing different children, managing, and the announcer. And it was fantastic skills. I was very much impressed. But half of them don't go to school. But their skills are assessed by an external panel of examiners. And at the final stage, they are eligible to take entrance exam for art university. It is a fantastic program. And also, 2 years later, they came to visit that disaster area. 8 teens from a youth radio station in Leeds, they came with Adrian and Katie as a staff. A youth radio workshop was held with teens from the disaster area of Sendai, Ishinomaki, and Minami Sanrik. Such a collaboration across borders and international is necessary more and more, considering today's situation in the world, I think. So as a conclusion, preventative and promotive mental health, for that some keywords I conclude. Identity, overcoming role confusion stage. Adolescents, rather than rebellious phase. Third place, and youth worker, and participation, engagement, social inclusion. Social capital construction through outdoor play from childhood. collaboration of youth across borders. So for that, today, the world is facing a climate crisis, a crisis for democracy, and a crisis for world peace. Denying hope for the future to children and young people could lead to the extinction of the human race. Now is the time to think globally, act locally, and to listen the voice of young people to realize democratic, peaceful communities where no one is excluded. I hope that young people themselves will use cutting-edge technology such as IT and AI to build a platform for international solidarity, sparking a more major wave that will ensure the future. Erickson analyzed Mahatma Gandhi's adolescent period, establishing his thought of non-violence and civil disobedience, hoping there will be coming the second, third Gandhi by enough secure identity cohesion. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kinoshita. Okay, thank you very much for coming back. I hope you have a good rest. And we are going to start. But before that, I'd like to let you know that all of today's presentation slides are available via this QR code on the ID pass you have. And please note that the presentation slides stored in the cloud are the most recent versions of the presentation slides you have submitted. But if the presentation slides are not the latest versions you submitted, please kindly let us know. Thank you. And now we will begin with Tokyo. Mr. Yamamoto Mario, Senior Director, Planning and Coordination Division of the Liaison Office for Child-Oriented Policies, will be speaking about the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's child-oriented policies. Please begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, and nice to meet you again. I'm Mario Yamamoto, the TMG Liaison Office for Child-Oriented Policies. Today, I will speak about Tokyo's child-oriented policies. First, let me give you a brief overview of Tokyo. The population of the Greater Tokyo area is about 37 million people. Around 14 million of them live within Tokyo metropolis. That is more than 10% of Japan's population. Tokyo's budget for the current fiscal year, which runs from April 2025 to March 2026, is around 9 trillion yen, or some 58 billion US dollars. Nearly 2 trillion yen, or around 20% of the total budget, is for measures to address the declining birth rate and promote child-oriented policies. This shows commitment to building a child-friendly city. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government is a regional government covering an area made up of 62 municipalities, which are responsible for basic governmental services that directly impact residents' lives. Tokyo needs not just large urban centers like this Shinjuku, Shibuya, and Ginza. The rich green Tama area and islands, including the Ogasawara Islands, UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site, are also part of Tokyo. Next, let's talk about Tokyo's child-oriented policies. The Liaison Office for Child-Oriented Policies was established 2022. Our office has three objectives. First, to realize a society that puts children first. Second, to develop an environment where people who wish to have and raise children can do so with confidence. Third, to provide support for children in the transition from adolescence to adulthood. Before our office was established, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Basic Ordinance on Children went into effect in April 2021. This ordinance is rooted in the spirit of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. It makes clear the basic principle of respecting children as subjects of rights and putting the best interests of children first. In line with the ordinance, we have secured a budget and are advancing various projects. Next, let me talk about our basic stance towards child-oriented policies. We treat children not as passive recipients, but as active participants and carefully nurture the potential of all children. Also, we gather children's view and data to gain an accurate understanding of the circumstances and challenges faced by children and implement effective policies that meet their needs. To advance child-oriented policies, we must listen to the opinion of the children themselves. the TMG uses various methods to gather the voice and views of children. We also continue to monitor awareness and actual circumstances regarding matters related to children. Since fiscal year 2023, we have been surveying 18,000 children every year. The feedback and data we collect are used to enhance our policies. Next, here are our methods for gathering the voices of children. We ran the periodic online survey about Tokyo's policies to monitor the views of 1,200 respondents who are recruited publicly by age group. To also listen to children whose situations make it difficult to have their voices heard, we visited spaces for children and listened to their real opinions. We reflect the opinions we gather in our policies and also give feedback to the children we surveyed by creating pamphlets and that explain them in an easy to understand way. We also run a policy-making participation project for junior and senior high school students. Through this project, students discuss Tokyo's policies and make their own policies proposal to the governor of Tokyo. Their ideas have been reflected in actual TMG policies. Tokyo's fiscal year 2025 budget, which once again runs from April 2025 to March 2026, also includes a new framework for matching companies and organizations with junior and senior high school students who wish to participate in work experiences. During summer break last year, this allowed students to take part in various work experiences. Our fiscal year 2026 budget also will reflect ideas proposed by students for a plan to promote entrepreneurship. We are also promoting cooperation regarding child-oriented policies with cities across Japan and overseas. For instance, through one project, we are sending junior and senior high school students to participate in an overseas study tour to leading child-friendly cities. Next month, 10 students will visit Copenhagen, Denmark, and Malmö, Sweden. Thank you for your support, everyone in Copenhagen and Malmö. Right now, these students are learning about the principles behind the TMG Basic Ordinance on Children through pre-visit workshops. During study tour, they will deepen their understanding of child-oriented policies through discussions with local children, site visits, and more. After returning, the students will share their experience with the other children in Tokyo. Also, as part of our Teen Square Tokyo Project initiative, we organized the Forum of Young Minds, which gather teenagers from leading child-friendly cities around the world to think about what makes a child-friendly city. Last summer, we invited teenagers from 4 overseas cities to Tokyo to participate in those forum discussions. Thank you for your joining, everyone, in Brussels, Dublin, Ireland, Surabaya, and Taipei. After learning in the importance of expressing their opinions through such projects, participants will give back by sharing what they learned with others their age. For 1 year after their participation, students will serve as ambassadors and promote understanding of the ordinance and other matters. Then, through an alumni network, they will continue to participate in various TMG initiatives and work to raise societal awareness of the importance of children expressing their views. Tomorrow evening, some of these ambassadors are scheduled to join us for a presentation and networking session. This final slide shows a prize-winning drawing from a poster design contest for elementary school students that was held to raise awareness of the ordinance. Written above the witch girl on the broom are the words, Tokyo, a city where children can strive towards their dreams. This wonderful message reflects the ideals of the ordinance. Winning entries of the contest are on display here, so please take a look during the break. This concludes my presentation. I hope that the opportunity to connect with all of you will help further improve our Tokyo's child-oriented policies, and that Tokyo's idea may prove helpful for your city's own policies. I'm looking forward to your thoughts and views in further discussions. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yamamoto. And it's now time for us to begin session 1, Work Experiences for Adolescents. We will now have a keynote presentation by Ms. Tanaka Risa, President, Graduate School of Project Design.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about career experiences for adolescents. In particular, I will focus on how we can connect the young person's interest, what they like, what excites them, and what they are curious about with real society. Adolescence is the first time in life when many young people seriously begin to think about their future. The experiences they have during this period strongly influence how they learn, how they work, and how they see themselves later in life. I'm currently a professor and president at a graduate school where working adults earn a master's degree. Many of my students are professionals who create new businesses and projects needed by society. They often tell me that they want to share what they are learning with adolescents and that they want to understand how the next generation thinks. Today, I would like to share some ideas and real examples from that perspective. Adolescence is a critical stage for developing self-esteem and identity. Every child is unique and impressible. At this stage, what matters most is having an environment where young people can discover what they truly like and care about. What a child likes is not a weakness. It is a seed of future potential. Instead of denying or suppressing it, we should protect it, support it, and help it grow. Each individual has unlimited potential. However, the world of work and society that children see in daily life is often very limited. That is why real-life experiences are so important. Children need opportunities to see, touch, and encourage with real work and real people. Classroom learning alone is not enough to help them understand how they connect to society. A profession is not simply a way to earn money. It is a way to learn within society, to take on a role, and to create value for others. When young people learn most diverse professionals and way of working, their future choices expand. By asking, why does this job exist? Who does it support? They also begin to learn about professional ethics and social responsibility. Let me share a concrete example. One of our graduates runs a program called Future Study Abroad. Through this program, high school and university students work on real management challenges faced by local companies. They speak directly with business leaders and work on actual projects for about 10 months. This is very different from short-term workplace visit. Through this experience, students learn about many kinds of work. They also encounter local culture and talk with adults outside their families and schools. As a result, they often discover the unique value and potential of the region itself. Career education for children cannot be completed by school alone. It requires collaboration among communities, governments, universities, and companies. Through this collaboration, children begin to feel, I am part of society. Education opens itself to society, and society, in turn, supports education. At our graduate school, we send faculty members to junior high and high school through national programs. We do not only give lectures. We conduct interactive workshops where students think about social issues and their own problems. This becomes the first step in connecting their interests with society. Local communities are powerful learning environments. In Nagasaki Prefecture, for example, students participate in business challenges on remote islands. They learn about local realities, define problems in their own words, and create ideas to economic and social renewal. What matters is not being told the right answer. What matters is seeing, experiencing, thinking, proposing ideas, and sharing them with others. These experiences foster a strong sense of ownership, the belief that the future of the economy, the future of the community is something we create ourselves. I am a member of public-private partnership team, Review Community for the Children's Smile Movement, a policy promoted by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. This initiative provides hands-on vocational experiences that reflect the real-world needs of junior high and high school students, helping them build experiences to navigate their future careers. Although the project just launched in 2025, we have already implemented 47 programs with the cooperation of 40 companies and organizations across 16 industries. A total of 355 students participated, 18 of whom served as student reporters, studying their experience with their peers through our official website. Participating students shared that the experience gave them an opportunity to think about their future and sparked a desire to take new challenges. Meanwhile, participating companies reported increased employee motivation and inspiration gained from the students' fresh ideas. Today, even while staying in one region, young people can connect with the world. In 2016, the Ise-shima Summit was held in my hometown, Mie Prefecture. Local products, traditional crafts, and world-class technologies of small and medium-sized companies are introduced to international media. After the summit, we opened the media center to local children. Many said, "I didn't know jobs like this existed." I'm proud that this technology comes from our region. I want to learn more about this company. Through these experiences, they realized how wide and full of possibility the world of work truly is. Conclusion. To nurture what children like and what they are good at, the first step is giving them opportunities to encounter real society. When education and society work together, we can cultivate the unique potential of every child. I believe this is one of the most important directions for education in the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tanaka. And we will now have presentations from 5 cities. Each city is requested to keep their presentation within 10 minutes. Thank you very much for your cooperation in advance. And now we will begin with Auckland. Okay, thank you. Please begin your presentation.
Hei tārofa lava everyone, konnichiwa. Watashi no namae wa
My name is Richie.
Misile, but people call me Richie. Watashi wa Niuji Rando kara.
I've come from New Zealand.
Specifically from the city of Auckland. And I work for the local board, the local council, the government organisation there called Auckland Council. So we're a council that's the largest local government organisation in the whole of Australasia. We're a unitary authority that governs the Auckland region at both a regional as well as a local level. I think it's slightly different to many of you here. And we operate with a multi-billion-dollar annual budget, and we manage tens of billions in public assets. So just 2 quick fun facts about Auckland is the first is every third person in New Zealand is an Aucklander. So we hold 1/3 of the total New Zealand population. And then the other, which is quite dear to me, is that we have the largest Pacific population in the world. So as you're aware, the point of our session today is we want to discuss some work experiences for adolescents. And as per the guiding documents for our forum, I know that the Tokyo Metropolitan Government are looking for work experiences that meet their needs and that are realistic. So today I want to present what we do at Auckland Council that I believe meets these criteria. So Auckland Council's commitment to children and youth is reflected in a few of our strategic documents. Like many of the organizations, we have a governance arm, which is obviously where all the politicians sit, and they make all the decisions around policies, budgets, and so forth. And then we have our operational administrative arm, which is where all the work, all the staff are kind of based. So on the governance side, you'll see the top there, let me start again. Auckland is kind of broken into 21 local board areas. So I guess in Japan, they're very much like your special wards. For some other countries, they're your boroughs or your districts and so forth. So we have 21 of these. And for the work experience program that I'm going to display to you today, it comes from this local board plan that's on the top, the Otara Papatoetoe local board plan. You can see I've put 2 initiatives from that plan that inform the work experience program. Then on the operational and the administrative side of Auckland Council, we are governed by a strategy called Ngā Hapori Momoho, the Thriving Community Strategy, and you can see a bit of a picture at the bottom there. And this has a vision to create a fair and sustainable tāmaki makaurau. Tāmaki makaurau is Māori for Auckland, where every Aucklander feels like they belong. Now, within thriving communities, the Thriving Community Strategy, we have what we call thriving rangatahi. Rangatahi is the Māori word for young person or young people. And that is our commitment to young people through 5 focus areas: health and well-being, access to opportunities, connection and belonging, civic participation, and care for the environment. And then you'll see, obviously, at the bottom of my slide there, 3 of the actions from Thriving Rangatahi. I just wanted to show briefly show some of how our strategic focus on youth is reflected across our other departments and teams. I'm not going to touch on all of them, but I will focus on the top 2. So we have our KAD team. They're a team whose main focus is to reduce harm from alcohol and other drugs on young people. And then libraries, I'm touching on libraries because libraries is where my passion is. We have dedicated roles that are focused on children and youth. So for example, we have a senior librarian, children and youth. Now, while this is not specific to or unique to our library system, I just wanted to highlight the sector's commitment to young people. So before I talk about our work experience program, I just want to touch on why we went down this road. Research shows the importance of work experience producing the following skills for our young people. It really helps to build those soft skills: leadership, adaptability, teamwork, flexibility, etc. Sometimes work experiences focus on the hard skills, but it's those soft skills that we really want to build. It boosts career readiness and chances of future employment. It introduces young people to real work experiences, and it lets them try out a workplace to see if that's what fits for them. So this is Tupu Youth Library. Tupu is a very unique place to me. The name Tupu in Māori means new growth, and it was a library that the community fought for. So then the council listened to the community and they brought in Tupu. It's the only dedicated youth library in New Zealand and possibly Australasia. And so when I talk about a youth library, I want you to think of a library with its collections, with its programming, with its events, and all of it is focused on youth. It's just purely youth. So I want you to think when you walk in, you're seeing table tennis games, you're seeing consoles, you're seeing screens, you're seeing podcast recording stations. That's what Tupu has. But most importantly, and I feel like this was touched on earlier, what's the most important facet of this youth library is the staff who build those relationships with our young people. Now, Tupu sits in a suburb or an area called Otara. It's a suburb that's marked by like low income, high deprivation, low home ownership, and so forth. Hopefully I'm painting a picture of what Otara is like. But I know that's a depressing side, but I want to balance that with some of the amazing stuff that Otara has. It has a high Pacific population and is increasing in its ethnic diversity, so it's a very vibrant community. It's got a very youthful population compared to the rest of the nation, so a lot of young people there. It's a young community. And when I started working in the area almost 20 years ago, I noticed the sense of pride that the people had in their community. Everyone knows everyone. and they're all, neighbors are waving at one another and so forth if they're not stealing each other's shoes. But they're doing some amazing stuff there. I first connected with the space back in 2007, near the end of my university studies, because a friend of mine was working there, and she said, the youth librarian role has become vacant, apply for it. And I thought, yep, I'm going to jump in. I'll stay there for 2 years before I move into HR, human resources, which is what I was studying. 18 years later, I'm still there because I absolutely love the place. Working in this space has given me a real deep love for libraries, and it's given me a real respect for doing work with the community. Now, the parts of libraries that I really love is that it's an incredibly special place. They provide knowledge, they provide access, support with no cost barriers, yet their impact is often overlooked. So this inspired me to do a master's research as to how Pacific youth look at librarianship as a viable career. And like most people, the libraries are just for shelving books. And when I ask, so what kind of roles help people? They'll list things like doctors, nurses, lawyers, social workers, and so forth, but never a librarian. So to bridge that gap, I created the Youth Work Experience, which is officially called the Otara Papatoetoe Student Internship Program. And the program would give young people the chance to experience library work, the impact that it has, and the meaningfulness of it. So this is the program. We created at the time of the creation of the program, the Otara Papatoetoe local board had the key outcome of promote youth leadership and participation in employment, education, training, and business. And as the manager of the time and completing my master's degree, I saw that the work experience program could contribute to this. And I just want to make note of that third point on the top box, which is to earn an income to support their families. In my studies, when I asked the students, what would make you do a work experience program? Because of the struggles in their family and cost of living, they said, we have to earn money. We can't do an extracurricular activity without contributing to our family. So that's what we added to this program. Because typically in New Zealand, work experience programs for youth, you don't pay money. So this is the program itself. So before it all starts, students are taken through a mock recruitment process. So they have to do a CV, a cover letter. They send it to the manager. They go through a mock interview, and then the successful applicants are then onboarded. It's a 2-week program, a 10-week program. When the students work 8 hours per week, and that 8 hours fits to their timetable. We don't force hours on them. They work according to how it fits in their lives. First half, the training, shadowing staff, and then the last half of that program, they're taking charge and they're leading programs and so forth. And those are just some of the skills, soft and hard, that they learn. So I'm not going to read everything that's on here, but essentially the youth love the program. They're grateful for the opportunity. They want to do it again. 90% of the students who've gone through have said they want to do it again. 4 have gone on to permanent employment opportunities. And they're really, truly thankful for it. And so this is my last slide. This is just a few photos of the students who are doing some of the work that we get them to do. And just on the side there, I just want to note right at the end, that's the most important part to a successful work experience program, is the proactive team to operate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Please begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm from Ireland, and I'm going to take an overall look at our national curriculum and the extent to which it provides experiences for students in terms of work experience. Just to say to you, this applies to our upper secondary students. Those are students from 15 years and above. So we have 2 years of schooling post our junior cycle or our lower secondary. But there is an optional third year known as the transition year. It's a bridging year. It's a year between junior and senior cycle. And it is, to some people's view, a year out from formal examinations. It's a well-established practice in Ireland, and we've moved through the process of reviewing this transition year, which has been in place for many years, in the last number of years, and introducing a new statement of transition year in 2024. So just to say to you in terms of access, the transition year programme statement was enacted in 2025. 99% of our secondary schools provide transition year, and 4 in 5 students complete in this optional programme. So it's a very high participation rate for something that's optional. And as I said, there are very few schools that no longer provide transition year, but we expect that those schools will be involved in the programme. Those 3 schools are small schools. They tend to be ones that are well established, but their numbers are small. And as I said, 4 in 5 students actually engage in the programme itself. In terms of its structure, and we've revised the structure, and if you look at the green lens in between the yellow, the green lens is that we focused on the students' dimensions of learning in the first instance, and around that, or we surround that with the curricular dimensions of the programme. The idea is that the student is the centre of the programme in schools. And those 4 foundational elements of the programme, actually one of those is career exploration, or exploring what my life might be and the choices that I might make when I leave school. Another aspect of this is the programme provides continuity for students from lower into upper secondary education as well. But as I said, particularly we're going to look today at the career options. So just to say to you, the transition year programme itself is a school-led design. This is unique in our circumstance. Most of you will have national curricula. They'll be set centrally. Equally, in Ireland, that is also the case. But in the case of the transition year, the school designs the programme for the students once it adheres to those dimensions and the guidelines that the Department of Education provides to them. And what that provides actually is a student-led experience, and the school can contextualise the design of its transition year programme to the needs and interests of the students within the school itself. One of the aspects that we've moved towards as well is the development of micro-credentials within the programme, so that these students are 15 and 16 years of age, so that they will develop a portfolio of credentials. One of the aspects that we've emphasised in the new programme, which was introduced in schools, is the introduction of focus on vocational education and training with an IVET module. It was when we reviewed the programme, one of our senses is that students weren't necessarily always picking vocational careers at the end of formal secondary. And just to contextualise that, around 65% of Irish children move on to university post the finishing of upper secondary education. In terms of looking at the dimensions of the programme itself, one of the aspects, as you can see there, is career exploration. And that's a particular aspect for us in terms of the programme. Students will spend 2 to 4 weeks each year in the transition year in a work experience placement. That placement is a combination of work and community. It's very important that we emphasised that students developed a community-focused aspect of that work experience programme. And one of the things is that the students must source the work placement themselves within the guidelines. Now, you can appreciate that we have around 40 to 50,000 students in the year group who will have to source those placements themselves in schools in large urban areas and in smaller areas where the opportunities mightn't be as apparent as to where they can access them. But I can say to you with great confidence that the schooling system working with the students has worked very well to ensure that those placements happen and the students learn from the placements, and that they are able to balance the community and the work placements. Because the aspect that people most think about is that I'm looking at my career options beyond, but it is important that they understand that civic aspect of the design of the programme as well, so that the community placement is an important element of that. And just to say to you in terms of it, the learning outside is supported by career investigation before they go out, career skills, and actually looking at reflective diaries when they return from the placement itself. So the preparation is also supported by guidance resources available to all students in schools, as well as outside speakers coming in to engage with the students and develop and look at the career options available to them. Like Australia and New Zealand and other countries, medicine is always top in terms of students' interest. It must be that they think that there's going to be a lot of money coming from it or something along those lines. Just looking at the curricular dimension, and this is an important aspect for us, even though the school can design its curriculum, there are certain core aspects that they must do. They must continue with the focus on literacy and numeracy through engaging with subjects on language and mathematics, but also their well-being, because that's one of the fundamental and foundational aspects of the programme itself, must continue. So they engage in programs in physical education and social, personal and health education as well. And those are the core 5 dimensions. But outside of that, what students do is they engage in modules that might be career focused. They do what we call taster subjects for when they go into senior cycle and they're in the examination phase, that they can explore subjects that might lead them to a particular career or a particular interest that they would have as students. In terms of actually looking at recording the learning over a period of time, because there is no formal national reporting, as there would be from the examination phases of lower and upper secondary, the students develop a portfolio of their learning. And what that enables them to do is to reflect on the development of the skills and competencies of the senior cycle. In the case of a careers, they also include aspects of it. They have one formal period in the school week, which actually is around the development of the portfolio, which includes those skills and looks at the development and career exploration that the students have engaged in, not just in their formal learning in school, but also in the work experience element that they've participated in. And in looking at the overall portfolio development, I think one of the key aspects that we ask the students to reflect on is what they have learned, how they have learned it, why they have learned it, and where they have learned it, because it can be a combination of what's happened within the formal school system, but also what's outside the system as well. And that is going back to the student dimensions of the learning, looking at how those student dimensions are explored and enhanced by the way in which they engage with the careers. And in terms of looking at the overall portfolio that they develop at the end of it, one of the things that we've done as part of this redevelopment is we've developed a series of micro modules for elements of the national curriculum, which is developed by our National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. And one of those focused on work experience. And what that allows the students to do is to reflect on the learning before they go on work experience, the skills and competencies and actions that are required, what they learn during their work experience, and then going back to the development of the portfolio itself, how they record and reflect on that learning. One of the things it actually allows students to do, we have optional subjects when you move to upper secondary, some of which are very career focused, some are vocational focused, some lead to further education and training, and some are more appropriate, for example, to vocational education and training. What the work experience module allows those students to do is to engage formatively, as well as reflect summatively in relation to that learning over the course of the year of the transition year programme itself. I think if I were to give an overall statement of the programme, I would say to you, students can get to know themselves better by reflecting on their own interests, abilities and personalities, and be in a better position to make choices that positively impact on their future. We have a very well-established transition year. It has been in place for a very long period of time. That doesn't mean that we couldn't look at it and change it, but one of the core elements that moves from cycle to cycle on our redevelopment is the centrality of the engagement in work experience. But in formalising it and saying more strategically now than we did before at national level, that it must include both a work and a community element, it gives our students that civic mindedness that is also a fundamental element of the programme itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the next presentation is Petalin Jaya. Please begin your presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, my presentation today will be talking about our experience as a city council in working with the children. My sharing will be based on our working with the children aged 18 years old and below under the UNICEF Child Friendly City Initiative framework. Let me begin by giving you some facts about the city of Petaling Jaya, or commonly known as PJ. The city was incepted in 1952 as a planned satellite town to Kuala Lumpur, the state capital of Malaysia. Presently, PJ, with a total population of 800,000 within an area of 97.2 square kilometers, become one of the most dense and diverse cities in Malaysia. While the city have developed into a hub for services, financial and hospitality, major challenges include the forming of smaller household size, emerging of an aging society, and significantly almost 30% of the total population are children. It's a challenge for Padang Jaya City Council as a local planning authority. We are neither the education authority, nor public health authority, nor children welfare agency. However, engaging with children is no more a choice but a necessity with the federal government's decision to lower voter age to 18 years old since 2022. How prepared mentally, emotionally, and psychologically children in nation building, city development, and discourse of community affairs are critical and important as their preference will shape the future direction of our city. As early as year 2000, children have been identified as major stakeholders when PJ embraced sustainability through Local Agenda 21 platform. Nevertheless, they are taken in as an important city users, beneficiary, and dependents. The consensus then created by other stakeholders was to care for children to fulfill their nutritional need, health, well-being, education, and welfare services. It's always of drafting a plan for children without their participation then. With MPJ's adoption of UN child rights alongside the CFCI, the role of children has, as the change agent in city, become more significant and essential. It is a strategic move for the Council to treat children as an equal and formidable partner in urban governance, to hear and to consider their rights seriously, attentively, and with care. No one is being left behind. Having said so, it's an uphill task at the initial stage to convince the adult, the councillor, the officer, and even general public on providing rooms for children to be engaged in the decision-making process. The norm was always children is still young, do not know much, and their suggestion is usually out of mind and could not be met financially. In order to collect that perception, an action plan on children with the provision of resources and enabling environment was drafted. This includes dedicated child responsive budgeting, institutional establishment, and notably the first child council in Malaysia, digitalized database, leveraging on the external resources and NGO as strategic partners, and capacity building for all, especially the understanding on child rights and inclusive design. The forming of strategic and sustained partnership with diverse groups is critical as the delivery engines of CFCI. Memorandum of understanding was signed with UNICEF, UNICEF, NGO, and professional body for knowledge transfer and linking with other resources entities. At the same time, positioning PJ as a global learning center on CFCI, promoting whole of society collaboration and participation, accelerating the role of private sector as impact partners, as well as reaching grassroots for real action and societal change at the neighborhood area. Our remarkable achievement and become role model for other cities in Malaysia is the establishment of the Child Council. It's also the 5th term now, and with the total alumni of 100 of them, some have graduated and continue to show their leadership quality in fields they are ventured into. Many come back to continue their service to coach the newcomers. The prospective candidates aged 11 to 17 years old from different geographical area and social background are given proper leadership training, the understanding about child rights and responsibility, as well as sustainable development and council's duty and function for good governance. Eventually, the shortlisted 30 are appointed as child councillor with honorarium for a 2-year term. They are not only serve as the advisor to council when it comes to children-related issue and program, but also as an intermediate between the council and other children, as well as the school or living area. This helps accelerating the acceptance of children as city stakeholders amongst community members. Children are not only being consulted, but involved proactively in the public participation process of drafting policy and the legitimate development plans. In the absence of federal legislation, the Council's child rights protection and participation policy, mooted by the Child Council, for example, was adopted as a guiding document. Their views, sometimes naive in nature, are not easy to be taken as valuable input by decision-makers, as biasness among adults towards children are still persisted. We need to break this distrust, and showing the visible and impactful result of children involvement toward society is the only way forward. Our work allows children to take the lead in many initiatives. Without that, the question of lack of proper planning and appropriateness of providing particular facilities remain unsolved. Children are also fostering sense of ownership towards features that they co-created. For example, a punching bag was built in the bus stop adjacent to the school children received tremendous positive feedback from the school students, as it is not only attractive and innovative, but allow much imagination for frustration relief. Let me now bring you to on board some existing projects that lead to our core design by the child counselors. Top of this include the child-friendly park at Taman Jaya, addressing safety gap, accessibility issue, and lacking of interactive play. The park become major attraction so that to the young park users and their family, especially the splash pool with water cannon is an instant crowd puller. Another work was designing neighborhood third space by converting an unused area into a toy library, catering to the need of the grassroots. This is very much reflecting the real need being addressed and for the needy. The third example is the organization of the fourth PJ International Youth Leadership Camp, a camp running into its 5th year with presence of young youth from our sister city all over the world. It's a great opportunity for personal interaction, cultural exchange, shaping the youth on climate consciousness and socially responsible global citizens. The program also inculcates volunteerism, collaborative, and experiential learning spirit amongst the children. Undoubtedly, the program empowered real leadership and organizing skill acquired by children into practice. Our engagement with children have taught us few lessons. These include, firstly, children are capable of providing pragmatic insights on safety, accessibility, and usability gaps. Secondly, participation fosters ownership and sustainability through shared responsibility. Thirdly, real-world engagement creates meaningful learning. Beyond classroom simulations, children felt so thrilled and excited to feel for themselves the reality. Fourthly, cost-effective and targeted improvement deliver higher yield and impact, more importantly, inculcating the sense of belonging. Fifthly, an institutionalized platform to sustain children's voice and urban governance is certainly important, as the lacking of legal entity to hold them together is unthinkable. Lastly, but not least, early and continuous engagement and build society trust, resulting in stronger community buy-in and outcomes. After all, children is the future, sooner or later, the leader of our city. Their early intervention in the public policy formation will ensure continuity and long-term strategies being observed. In summary, ladies and gentlemen, our works demonstrate that a livable city does not emerge from building alone, but from people, their voice, their needs, and their aspiration, and in this regard, the children. So just now I listened to the keynote address by the Vice Governor, by the Tokyo government on the exchange of the youth. So welcome to Pattaya if possible. Yeah. So with that, I would like to end my presentation here, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. And the next presentation is Taipei. Okay, please begin your presentation.
Okay. Ooh, it's too high for me. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Today, I want to share Taipei's approach to youth career empowerment and development. So, as a policymaker in city government, I spend a lot of time to thinking about systems and institutions. But as a parent, my thoughts are actually very similar to many families around the world. I'm a mother of 2 children. My son is actually currently in elementary school. So at this age, children don't yet think about careers, but they are already learning how to see the world, how to ask questions, and how to understand what interests them. I often ask myself, if children's learning experiences not only happen inside classrooms, and if every experience looks the same, how can they truly understand the world is full of possibilities? So Taipei is a city with strong education and resources, but what matters to us is not how many resources we have. What matters is whether these resources can reach young people at the right time in their lives. That is why we don't rush children to answer the question, what do you want to become? Instead, we start earlier, helping them gradually explore the world step by step. Today, I want to share not just policies, but a pathway that just support young people as they grow, explore, try, eventually find their own direction. In Taipei, we start career exploration very early. For children aged 6 to 12, we don't think about career choices. We don't ask them to decide their future, of course. We focus on one thing, helping them repeatedly experience the real world. Children are exposed to real professionals through school-based career exploration programs. They learn that work is not just something in textbook. It's about solving problems and creating value. We also bring students outside classrooms into industries, technology campuses, and real working environments. For example, through aviation experience programs, children don't learn how to planes fly. They see equipments, meet professionals, and understand how many different roles exist behind one airplane. So what children truly remember is not the system. What they remember is that someone kept opening doors for them again and again. When children enter junior high school, they begin to form ideas about who they are. At this stage, Taipei focuses on helping students understand themselves through hands-on experience. Students participate in technical skill programs covering more than 15 career fields, including engineering, design, and business. They don't just imagine their future, they build things, they solve problems, they discover what they're good at. In 2025 alone, over 5,000 students participate in this kind of technical education programs across more than 500 learning sessions. But beyond numbers, what matters most is the moment when many young people realize, I can actually do this. So as young people grow older, their question changes. They no longer only ask, what am I interested in? They begin asking, if I really choose this path, what will my life look like? This is when the Department for Youth formally steps in. Industry, when we integrate career development, innovation, exposure, and real industry resources. Through programs like our Career Train Initiative, industry professionals and enter high schools to help students understand real-world career pathways. We also established the Taipei Youth Career Development Center, where young people can receive one-on-one mentorship on careers, internships, and innovation. And through our youth internship program, young people aged 15 and above can gain real work experience in innovative industries. In 2025, 759 young people participate in this program. For many of them, it was the first time they realized my interest actually has a place in the real world. So if we look back at this pathway, it's not a straight line. It is built from many small moments, visits, courses, projects, attempts, and experiences. Young people may not remember every program's name, but they remember that at a different stage of life, someone opened the door for them. So now I would like to share one real story in Taipei. Please look at the image on the right. This is the student, Miss Jiang, who was once simply a girl who loved drawing and styling. At that time, she didn't know if this could become her future. It just made her happy. Through the school career exploration program and creative courses, she gradually understood the distance between interest and profession. In Taipei, we observe many young people like her. talented, passionate, but lacking opportunity to try. So we created the Youth Fashion Design Competition. This competition is now in its 11th year, which teams participating from across Taiwan. Through design workshop, industry mentorship, and real production experience, students turn creative ideas into real projects. Also, Miss Jiang won first place that year. But more importantly, it was the first time she believed she might be able to walk this path. So the story didn't end with winning the competition. Last December, she joined 5 other young people from Taipei on an overseas career exploration trip to Korea. They visit design studios, fashion platform, supply chain market, and universities. They saw how creative ideas move from concept to market reality. They learned that an industry is not just about design, it's about systems, it's a collaboration, and real-world decisions. So for these young people, it was not only about seeing more, it was about seeing their passion through a professional lens. For Miss Zhang, this trip changed how she viewed fashion. She once said something that deeply stayed with us. I started to see fashion not as objects, but as something designed into the city itself. She realized that fashion is not only clothing, it's something integrated into how city function and how people live. Later, she said, I'm not longer rushing to choose the future. I'm learning how to walk in a way I can keep going. So today, she's studying fashion design in the university and continuing to move step by step toward her passion. So the story is not about providing how exceptional one student is. It's about how repeated exploration builds confidence and understanding. In Taipei, we're building a career empowerment system that is continuous and connected. From early exposure to real experience to global opportunities, this is not about one child's success. It's about how a city can support every young person to find their own light. So thank you very much. We also warmly welcome all of you to visit Taipei in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the next presentation is Tokyo. And this presentation will be conducted in Japanese, so please use your interpretation receiver. Please begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please allow me to speak in Japanese. Welcome to Japan. Welcome to Tokyo. I am the Director for Project Promotion in the Office for Children's Policy Coordination of TMG. My name is Furuse Hirotaka. Today, I will introduce Tokyo's Career Experience Initiative for Adolescents. The outline of my presentation is as follows. First, I will explain the background of this initiative. Next, I will introduce the career experience programs conducted last summer, and finally, I will share their outcomes. The initiative originated from the junior high and high school student policy participation project that was introduced earlier. This enables students, the direct stakeholders of child policy, to discuss issues and submit policy proposals to the governor of Tokyo. The theme for fiscal year 2024 was enhancing meaningful real-world experiences for the future. Students who participated in the program expressed concerns about limited options at school, a lack of internships at school, and scattered information on work experience, and uncertainty about how to participate in work experience programs. After extensive discussion, students proposed that Tokyo create a comprehensive website linking students with companies offering career experiences, which was incorporated into the fiscal year 2025 budget. As a result, in July last year, we launched the Tokyo Career Experience website called JobEX. The name reflects its purpose of offering opportunities for experience and exploration of work. Through this website, students are matched with companies and organizations. Companies post work experience programs on the website, while students, junior and senior high school students, search and apply individually, not as a school basis. The site also provides learning content such as company profiles, business manners, information, and past program examples to help students find suitable opportunities. Let me briefly explain the structure of the career experience programs. As shown on the left, on day 1, students engage in hands-on activities such as caregiving at elderly facilities or table setting at hotels. Based on these experiences on day 1, on the second day, as you can see on the right-hand side, students propose ideas for new products or social solutions and engage in dialogue with employees raising children who are on the maternity or child rearing leave, reflecting on work-life balance. This program design enables the real-world career experiences students are seeking. Next, I will review the results from last summer. On the left-hand side, as you can see, with the cooperation of 40 companies and organizations across 16 industries, such as construction, manufacturing, city development, and financial institutions and insurance companies, as well as IT and other areas that are supporting economy and social activities, programs covered fields, many fields. And from late July to late August, 205 junior high and 150 high school students, a total of 355 students, participated in the program. And they were able to have interaction between students in different classes and different age groups. In addition, 18 students documented their experiences and interviews with company executives in articles published on Tokyo's official website. This is the result of the survey conducted targeting the participants. More than 90% of participants reported high satisfaction, understanding, and increased interest in work. Comments included, "It helped me think about my future, I realized that working contributes to society, and it motivated me to take on new challenges beyond school." Those adolescents may have anxieties among their future, but I believe that this program was conducive in minimizing such anxiety. And next are the survey results from participating companies and organizations. Many noted increased employee motivation, renewed recognition of organizational strength, and insights useful for product development. And these representatives said that the children and adolescents were very highly motivated, and they were able to create fan bases among junior and senior high schools. And they also learned a lot from the insights gained from them. So overall, the initiative's result, it received strong positive feedback from participating organizations. Through this win-win initiative, we believe that this is not just a social contribution program. I believe this leads to the higher motivation of employees as well as the better product development. And I believe these are the reasons why this program is highly regarded by the company representatives. As you can see, the participating students and the companies and organizations had a good experience. Through this win-win initiative, we will continue expanding opportunities for students in Tokyo to experience diverse professions and grow through these experiences. Thank you very much for your attention.
ありがとうございました。 Thank you very much for coming back. Please take your seats. We are about to start the session 2. Okay, thank you very much for your cooperation. We would like to begin session 2, places where adolescents feel a sense of belonging. We will now have a keynote presentation by Mr. Yamamoto Akifumi, Director B Lab, Children and Youth Center of Bunkyo Ward.
Hello everyone, my name is Akifumi Yamamoto. Today I will talk about a place to belong for youth. I'm very happy to share our story with you. First, let me introduce myself. I'm a director of a B Lab. This is a youth center located in Bunkyo City, Tokyo. When I was a university student, I became very interested in helping youth people. I went to Finland to work as a youth volunteer worker at a youth center. Now I work at a non-profit organization called Katariba. I want to make society better for young people. I have visited Finland and Sweden, other countries, sometimes to keep learning. Let's look at the problem in Japan, young people. Many young people in Japan are not feeling happy. Some are very sad or stressed. According to UNICEF report, Japanese youth are facing a crisis. Suicide rates are rising and their mental well-being is low. Why is this happening? In big cities like Tokyo, young people are very busy. They go to school, go home, and go to cram schools. In those places, adults always check their grades or behavior. The problem is, in all those places, they are always being judged. They can't relax. Also, in park, there are many rules. Often, ball games are banned. Cafe and karaoke are fun, but they cost money. So if you don't have money, you have nowhere to go. Teenagers have no place to go for free. They are often isolated at school and don't meet different kind of people. At B level, we want to support young people. First, we need to understand what youth means. We create this definition through dialogue with our staff. We have updated it 3 times so far. Young people change, so our definition changes with them. We think being young is a difficult time. Their feelings change a lot, so they need someone to be with them and support them. But being young is also a wonderful time. They have limitless potential. They can become anything in the future. We are youth workers. We are not teachers. We are partners. We believe in them and we create a safe place together with them. What is a place to belong for youth? It has two meanings. It is a place where you can be your true self, and it is a place where you prepare to become an adult. Adults can't decide this place for them. Youth must feel this is my place. That feel is the most important things. Let me tell you about B-Labo. It is a center for teenagers in Bunkyo City. We are open 3,060 days a year. We are open on weekends, and it is free. Any teenager can here anytime. At B-Labo, young people spend their time freely. For example, they play with friends, practice dancing or band, and play sports like baseball and basketball and table tennis. They also join events or plan and hold their own project at B-Lab or in the community. They participate in the management of B-Lab. Of course, they can just spend time alone. B-Lab is a safe place for everyone. We believe a safe place is fundamental right for everyone. B-Lab is a place where young people can turn their I want to try into reality. And B-Lab is a place created by youth participating democracy every day. We created this visual with young people for B-Lab 10 anniversary. It shows the answer to question what kind of place is B-Lab. At B-Lab, you can come anytime and leave anytime. You can be alone or you can play with friends. You can do something or do nothing. You can find what you like, talk to people, and learn new things. What do young people say about B-Lab? One youth loves Gundam anime. He started a club here. He said, B-Lab is a place where I can turn my idea into action. Others love to dance. She said, at school, I only know students in my class, but at B-Lab, I can make a friend with many different people. I can be my true self. As I said, B-Lab is my second home. The staff always listen to me. Those stories shows us why those places are necessary. Finally, our goal is simple. We want to build trust with young people. I want them to learn to live We want them to learn to live with others, and we want them to become citizens who create our society together. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. And we will now have presentations from 5 cities. Each city is requested to keep their presentation within 10 minutes again. So we will begin with Tokyo. Please begin your presentation.
Hello, my name is Akihiro Ikegame from Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Thank you for coming to Tokyo. I'd like to talk about places to belong for adolescents. To begin, I'd like to outline our fundamental stance on child-oriented policies. We advance effective policies based on evidence, candid opinions, and aspirations of children. By understanding their current situations and perceptions, and reflecting these insights in our initiatives, we aim to build a children-first society. This same approach applies to creating places to belong for children. Let me share one key finding from the survey. One of the findings from this survey is the relationship between children's place to belong and their well-being. Children with a place to belong outside the home tend to report higher levels of happiness and self-esteem. Next, we work with and support local municipalities and other organizations to create a wide variety of places for children to belong: playground, after-school care space, and more. Now, I'd like to introduce two examples of playgrounds that reflect children's opinions. The first example is a space where children can enjoy free, independent, and creative outdoor play in nature. We ensured a large open space so that children can act on a wide range of "I want to try" ideas. Our second example is about improving public parks. Throughout the process, we held workshops with elementary school students. Based on their input, we have developed parks where ball games are permitted. Over the past 3 years, Tokyo Metropolitan Government has supported 22 local municipalities in creating playgrounds that reflect children's opinions. Next, I'd like to share another survey result. In the survey, we asked, where do you feel you belong and can feel at ease? The percentage of junior and high school students who chose communities facilities such as children's center or parks was less than half that of elementary school students. We also had comments such as, most of the activities at children's centers are for little kids, or there are no space just for junior and high school students. This clearly shows the challenge of improving community places that meet the needs of adolescents. Actually, in Tokyo, there are facilities that provide dedicated places for junior and high school students. For example, U Suginami and CAPS. These are facilities designed for junior and high school students. A key feature here is that students' voices are incorporated into facility operations. We will continue to create places to belong by listening to the opinions of junior and high school students. We also support local municipalities that are working to create such places where students themselves can take part in facility operations and program planning. Guided by children's opinions and evidence, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government will continue to create places to belong for adolescents. By staying close to children, we aim to enhance children's well-being. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And the next presentation is Berlin. Please begin your presentation.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, dear colleagues. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak at the Tokyo Global Forum on Children. I am Jana Thun. I am the deputy head of the Youth Work, Youth Social Work and Youth Delinquency Unit at the Senate Department for Education, Youth and Family Affairs in Berlin. And today I will give you an overview of how Berlin creates places of belonging for young people through youth welfare, youth work, education, and social services. Berlin is a large and diverse city. Young people grow up in very different circumstances, and they need reliable structures and spaces where they feel safe, valued, and included. This is the guiding idea of my presentation. How can a city create places where young people truly belong? Young people need spaces of safety, recognition, and community. In Berlin, such places include youth centers, cultural and sports facilities, schools, all-day programs, neighborhood meeting points, and outreach work in public spaces. The goal is to enable participation, strengthen personal development, and provide environments where young people feel connected and supported. In Germany, all child and youth services are based on a national legal framework, the Social Code, Book 8. This law guarantees the rights of children and young people, defines responsibilities of public authorities and service providers, and combines support, protection, and participation. The system is built on two core pillars. First, individual legal entitlements, needs-based support for children, young people, and families. Second, open services as social infrastructure, such as youth work, youth social work, and youth cultural services embedded in local communities. Together, these two pillars form the foundation of youth welfare in Germany. Berlin has 407 youth leisure and cultural facilities across the city. They are open, voluntary, and low-threshold spaces where young people can meet, participate, and develop their own ideas. Youth work in Berlin is open, inclusive, co-creative, and strongly rooted in the local communities. Young people are encouraged to help shape activities and programs. Youth work strengthens participation, creativity, social relationships, and a sense of belonging. Youth cultural activities. Berlin also has a rich youth cultural landscape. This includes youth theaters, music and media spaces, youth libraries, and multidisciplinary arts centers, such as Weinmeisterhaus and Pumpe. These places give young people access to artistic expression, creative learning, and cultural education. All programs are accessible, low-cost, and designed to empower young people and encourage creativity. In many neighborhoods, outreach youth work plays an important role. Professionals meet young people directly in public spaces and build trusting relationships in their everyday environment. The main goals are violence prevention and conflict management, strengthening health and self-efficacy, and promoting social participation and community cohesion. Sport is often used as a low-threshold entry point. It helps to build trust, creates motivation, and provides positive group experiences. Another key area is youth social work within schools. In Berlin, more than 1,000 professionals work at 637 schools in cooperation with 86 non-governmental organizations. They provide individual, group, and family support, counseling and prevention, cooperation between school and youth welfare, and support for equal opportunities and school transitions. This helps prevent school dropout and strengthens well-being and participation. All public primary schools in Berlin are all-day schools, and many secondary schools also offer all-day formats. There are two main models: open all-day programs and structured all-day programs. All-day schooling combines learning, care, and leisure, supports families, and creates more stability and equal opportunities for children. Berlin also offers innovative educational spaces beyond traditional schools, such as Street College or Schlesische 27. They provide self-directed, project-based learning, multidisciplinary workshops, flexible and inclusive formats, and the possibility to obtain formal school qualifications externally. These spaces are especially important for young people who do not thrive in conventional school systems. A core element of the SGB-8 is individual rights-based support for children and young people and families. This includes individual, group, and family-based support, outpatient daycare and residential services, parenting and family counseling, and support tailored to assessed needs. In Berlin, around 40,000 new and ongoing support cases are delivered each year by public authorities and non-governmental providers. The goal is to stabilize, support, and protect families. To come to the conclusion, Berlin's youth welfare and education system creates a wide range of places of belonging, spaces where young people can grow, participate, express themselves, and receive support when needed. Our experience shows diversity is a strength, participation empowers young people, and cooperation between systems is essential. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you very much. The next presentation is Brussels. Please begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks again to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government for organizing this interesting conference. I'm really happy to be here and to explain a bit about the situation in Brussels. I'm going to take you through a tour of how Brussels is trying to create those spaces of belonging for the Brussels youth. And we will also see how the Brussels young people, adolescents, are creating those spaces themselves as well. I will first explain the vision we have on youth-oriented city, and then delve into some lessons and challenges we are experiencing for the moment in Brussels when talking about these themes. So it will be a bit of a mix of theory and practice. First, some key facts about Brussels. It's a very international city. More than 180 languages are spoken. It's also a very complex city, institutionally a young population, relatively young population, and a city also with really big spatial inequalities. For example, you see the three maps there. The left map shows the area where most young people are located. The center map shows the area where most poverty is located. And the third map shows that, especially in those areas, there's a big lack of open space in the city. So those are the types of realities we also have to work with in Brussels. Now, about our vision. Essentially, it's centered on 4 pillars. We want integrated initiatives, we want participation, we want diversity in our policies, and we want to stimulate the freedom to experiment for our adolescents and our young people. And we want to do that from childhood to adolescence, from playing to belonging. On the left, you see an example of the first project Playcation, where we stimulate free play in urban public spaces that was presented here last year. And at the end, you see an example of a project that was supported by the AFON program that we initiated in Brussels. And through the AFON program, we really want to give opportunities to adolescents from the age of 12 that can apply with their IDs to our government and ask for funding. And then we sit together with a selection jury, we give funding or not, but especially we guide the youngsters in how to change their IDs. They're often really interesting crossover creative IDs into concrete projects that can work in a city. I will mention that program AFON a few times because it really exemplifies the pillars of our vision in creating places of belonging. So the first pillar of the vision is the integrated approach. I think we have heard it a lot of times today. It is really important that we work together and above the boundaries that there often still are in administrations, in competences. It's only an integrated approach that can really make a difference, for example, on mental health issues. That's also what we want to do in our youth hubs. We also create the opportunity for mental coaching. But for example, we also have free time initiatives where young people, to link with the previous team, also explore different job opportunities. So we really try to connect those different fields. The next principle is participation and co-ownership, and this is really central. We really see in Brussels young people as the best experts on their own lives, and that's a bit the way in which we want to connect them to our policy making. For example, we also have a very active youth council that can really have an impact on different policy level. But for example, we also let them choose projects when we have selection juries, for example. We really want to give them real power in policy making and budget allocation. The next principle is diversity. Brussels is really a hyper-diverse city, and it also means that there's no one-size-fits-all. We have our traditional forms of youth work and youth activities, but we see that they don't reach everybody. So we really want to create a policy environment that also that is really diverse in starting up diverse policy initiatives, but also supporting a wide range of organizations that can reach that diversity of a Brussels population, always in mind. We always have in mind accessibility, of course, and the presence in all areas of Brussels, especially in those types of areas that I showed before, where there's a lack of youth spaces for youth. When we go to the last principle, it's the freedom to experiment. We see in Brussels, and it's really fascinating, the last few years, young people organizing themselves in collectives with a wide range of ideas. We really want to stimulate those kind of ideas, for example, through the AFON subsidizing program that I mentioned before. For example, in the middle, it's a good example. It's a project called One Field Fellow, where a group of youngsters turned the Brussels house into a space of co-creation, and where they do artistic workshops, but also workshops on fermentation. It's really crossover. And in a way, it was also mentioned a few times already today, youngsters who created their own third place without us even really intervening, except for giving a little bit of support through AFON. Voilà. Those four pillars are a bit the foundation of our vision on creating spaces of belonging. Now, these years we are also learning a lot of lessons and encountering challenges in how to implement that in our spatial policies. One of those lessons is that we really want to give adolescents control of urban public spaces. A few examples. The first one is a project also supported through AFON, where youngsters clean up the street after the New Year's Eve party in Brussels, which is traditionally also always a moment that there's a lot of riots and a lot of problems. But here youngsters really took matters in their own hand, organized themselves really to clean up showing that it was also mentioned before, they are not the problem, but part of the solution. And next, I will show also a video of another collective where adolescents really organize themselves to create meaningful free time for kids roaming about in the Brussels streets and Brussels parks. So almost no intervention from a policy level, but kids organizing, adolescents organizing themselves and taking care of kids in the city. So you can young people creating those places of belonging for themselves. Another lesson that we are learning is how important it is to also use the underused spaces in the city. In Brussels, unfortunately, we have a lot of vacancy, but we support organizations that really work there with activities for young people, which has the extra advantage that it has a good link with the streets, where a lot of Brussels young people also look for their places of belonging. Another lesson we are learning is how to remodel existing models we have. For example, the youth centers, we have a lot in Brussels. They're spread over the city, but we saw the old way that they are working. It didn't work anymore. So now it's a real challenge how to innovate and how to make sure that those places again become places of belonging for young people. And I will end also with an example of a library. The big public library in the center of Brussels, where we transformed the bar of that library in really a youth-run space for 1 year, where youngsters could just chill and hang out, but where they also had access to mental coaching, for example, or job coaching. So really an integrated space. And we will also end with a video where you can see a co-creation workshop of the Affon subsidy line that I mentioned before. And so in the workshop you're going to see in action, you see young people really working on their ideas, adolescents, how can we develop them in concrete projects. And I think this, to conclude, is also my takeaway. I think if we really want to create places of belonging, we need to have the youngsters co-create these places. In a way, it's really logical. Something belongs to you if you co-create it. So that's the lesson, and we can end with this video. It takes about 2 minutes, but you can cut it short. Thank you. Very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to the exchanges we are still going to have these days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the next presentation is Copenhagen. Please begin your presentation.
We'll do that. Thank you very much, Tokyo, for making it possible for me to present you with a place where we in Copenhagen experience that young people feel a sense of belonging. It's something we're very proud about because it's a big issue, and I think that we are being allowed here to talk about something that we would like to tell you all about. Thank you for that. I'm going to try to give you a brief glimpse of 3 different things that takes place in these places. I'm going to talk a little bit about learning without a curriculum. I'm going to talk a little bit about developing a guided yet free space where you can develop your social skill and self-esteem as a youngster. I'm going to talk about how we put a lot of emphasis on asking young people about their preferences, about their wishes for what they would like to do. I'm going to talk about it with a difficulty in translating what it actually is I'm talking about. In Danish, it's called ungeværk, which is a very untranslatable word. But then I heard the presentation of Yamamoto-san who talked about B-Lab, and I said, well, this is actually bringing B-Lab to Copenhagen. This is actually bridging the distance between Tokyo and Copenhagen, because I'm talking about what you call a youth center. I've called it activity places in lack of better word. If I translated ungeværk directly, it would be young creation. It's about 90 places scattered throughout Copenhagen. It's places where you can come from 13, 14 years of age until you turn 18. I say 13, 14 because you usually start coming when you enter your 6th grade in school. So it's in the summer, some are 13, some are 14, when you start coming there. It's open from early afternoon until late evening. That's until around 10 o'clock in the evening. And you're not a member. You don't pay a membership fee. You can walk in alone, you can walk in as a group, and you can walk in the different places. So you're not sort of have one activity place where you actually go. You can go different places. About 15-20% of the population of Copenhagen in the age use it. And the core staff in these places are trained in pedagogy. That's probably important to notice. It's not social work, it's pedagogy that is the core profession. Let me tell you a little bit about the backbone of the professional approach in these places. And I'll start by this last bit on the right-hand side. I think it sort of captures some of the essence of pedagogy in the Scandinavian, or at least the Danish setting. Every time we help a child, we take away a learning opportunity. I'll repeat that. Every time we help a child, we take away a learning opportunity. So think carefully before you help. What we try to create in these places is a guided, safe, but free space where you can actually make your own mistakes, mishaps, rise yourself from them afterwards. Life is hard. You fall, and you need to learn to pick yourself up. You fall in love, you become heartbroken, and you need to figure out, how do I continue in the relationship with the people on my age, my peer group? But you don't have to fall that hard that you can't get up. So these professionals around them try to put up the outer frames that young people can develop together freely and make sure that they're actually building their social skills in this safe place for developed social skills and self-esteem. I also said this is a place for, I'll say, belonging over performance. It's a place where you try to do what you actually think you would like to do for fun and play, not for you to master it, not for you to become better tomorrow than you is today, but because you like to play it, because you like to do it now. It's sort of a carpe diem thing that seize the moment. Learn what you actually would like to do, and then you do it, not to become good at it tomorrow, not to master a certain topic. What is it then they do? Well, first of all, it's very much up to the young people themselves. If at some point they want to do nail art, which is pretty popular for the time being, you'll try to involve a professional nail artist in this activity place. You will have her, which is often her, come do nail arts in the place. You'll have workshops sometimes, and the young people participate. If it's music, you try to bring in a professional musician, you try to find a studio, you try to find something where the young one can play with their wishes. Not something they enroll in, not a course that they have to master for a test, but something that you do while you're there. And then we always work with this sense of how to enhance belonging. I'll give you one funny example that is used in some of these places. You have a nail art course, a nail art workshop. It's because 10 of the young people have decided they actually would like to do that. So you have invited this professional nail artist and they're doing the workshop. They're doing it in a room. There's 10 people in there who said, we're going to participate. You make sure there's 11 chairs in that room, because one who has not registered for the workshop, she might actually would like to go there. She might actually just need this push from a professional to say, I could do this as well. I could become part of this group. If she opens the doors and sees there's no room, she'll turn around and she'll say, okay, it wasn't for me. If she looks into the room and sees an empty chair, well, there's room for me in this setting. I'll join. Well, then what about the 12th person? Therefore, you have this dogma. If you take the last chair, make sure you bring in another one. Make sure you bring in the next empty chair in the room. The young one keeps remembering this most of the time. If they forget, one of the professional pedagogical trained will try to come from the outside, bring in the chair so you have room for the next person who tries to go into this group of people, who tries to make a sense of belonging doing these activities. I think that is why it's not psychology, it's not sociology, it's pedagogy we're actually talking about as the professional approach to people. It's how you actually evolve a group of people, how you make something that a group of people feel a sense of belonging. I said from the beginning we'd put a lot of emphasis on asking the young people how they actually feel. We do it regularly. Every year we have a report where all the young people are asked how they feel about the adults around them. Do they have an adult they can talk to? Do they feel part of a group? Do they like the activities? Do they like to come? What do they like to do next year, next week, next month in this place? Do they feel safe? And this report is presented to the political board once a year. I have just here a few questions and the answers. And a link, if you want to see the full report, you'll have to Google translate it, but I guess Google could do that. But I think what is more important than this annual survey is the everyday involvement of the actual users of the place to set, what will I like to do tomorrow together with other people? What will I like to do for other people's so that I would like to come again tomorrow? This is not a pie in the sky regarding to cracking sort of the loneliness or the low self-esteem among young people in the city of Copenhagen. But it is something where we work really hard to make more and more people drop in, re-drop in, and come back to the places, maybe even some of the other places, together with a group of people. We work closely with schools. We'll bring them over because it's not school, it's sort of located separately. From schools, the Stefan Art School. You can go there and make your homework if that's what you want to, but it's not something that you're obliged to. It's not a school activity place connection. And we constantly try to broaden this, the issue of diversity that you talked about from Brussels. There is a tendency that young people group will similar, working with diversity, trying to bring in other subgroups, other social economic groups, other ethnic groups, other religious groups, is a very hard work. I think we are actually seeing a rise in the number of young people using these spaces. We are seeing more and more people seeking this community among the young ones in these activity places. Finally, I won't have time to play it, but I've linked to a film. Sometimes it goes to show a little bit more than words that you can see yourself. And if you have any questions, do definitely not hesitate to contact me for that either, or talk about it here, but also afterwards. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak about something we're very proud of in Copenhagen.
Thank you very much. And the next presentation is Helsinki. Please begin your presentation.
So thank you very much for letting Helsinki also to be part of this this forum. I think in Finland, and we Finnish people, we are more like doers, not talkers. So I brought my dear colleague Mikko Vatka also here. He is the head of youth services, and he will explain more closely about what we do in terms of youth services. If I was asked years ago at the age of 15, what will I be, I wouldn't have any idea. And the question, what will I be, reminds me what Dr. Isami Kinoshita has said about the identity. So the main question at the moment, I think, in Helsinki is how our children are allowed to find their identity in their early years. And the second one is what, as cities, can we do to let voices of children to be heard? So those two key questions, maybe. The idea of this presentation is to share some of Helsinki's most innovative approaches to youth work, but before we get there, you need to know some facts about the city and an overview of the youth services in Helsinki. And 3 points, as our president always says. First is service delivery. We offer a wide range of hobbies, activities, and youth work services by the city itself. That is first one. And the second one is participation and inclusion. We systematically listen to our young people to use their ideas in planning our services. And third one is, of course, information and knowledge. Our work must be based on facts and understanding the needs of our young people. Helsinki, as it says here, is actually a vibrant and diverse city with nearly 700,000 residents. Almost 80% of the population growth over the past 10 years has come from other parts of Finland and especially from abroad. Most of Helsinki's population increase is due to the net international migration. And this means that nearly 25% of our residents have a multicultural background. Here you can see the organizational structure of the city of Helsinki. Youth services is part of the culture and leisure division, but we work really closely with education services and social and health services. And I think this kind of structure differs from many other cities that are gathered here, and that is why we showed it here today. But with this kind of structure, we want to make sure that the work we do with children is really closely connected to our school and to our health system. According to these statistics here, Helsinki is full of young energy at the moment. So 1/3 of our population, almost 250,000 people, are under 30 years old. The city is also very international, more than 160 nationalities, and this kind of change has been really rapid in the last 30 years. And here you can also see our youth work, how it is organized in 3 areas: North, West, and East, each supporting around 15,000 10 to 17 years old children. I think this is the background of the city of Helsinki, the information, and now I think, Mikko, it is your time to take over and lead us into the core of youth services.
Thank you, Juha, and thank you for everyone allowing us to have this presentation. After what Tobias Tax from Copenhagen said it made my role a bit easier because he explained very well the role of Nordic youth centers or youth work, or as we Finland call it, nuorisotalot and nuorisotyö, which is not easy to translate, but there's a lot of similarities between our and Danish and Swedish system. We have a wide range of youth centers locally, nearby young people's places where they live, nearby the schools. But then we have also places for different kinds of activities all around the city. And in our city, young people are allowed to, at least from the age of like 13, they are really allowed to move within the city and participate activities not only in their own neighborhoods but also around the city, because the city is quite safe and we have a good public transportation system. So the idea is that we have youth work nearby the schools until the age of 15, and the ones above that we have like city level activities. For example, like this Tiivistämä urban events unit, we can have different kinds of events for all young people from the age of 15 onwards there. And in Finnish youth work, the tradition is quite long. There's like 80 years of city-based youth work there already. And the idea is always been that you can come to visit our places or join our activities, and it is free of charge, and it is voluntary to the participation. And what we do is there always has to be these three main ideas there behind. It's about peer-to-peer learning, and young people say they come there because of their friends. Then there needs to be something that we do together, some kind of a hobby or activity, music, sports, even kind of activities around participation. And the participation, really co-creation with young people, and young people as real subjects, not objects of services. That's like the third real criteria for youth work. And in city of Helsinki, we have divided our city youth work on these four areas. There is the individual level, working with groups and communities, encouraging young people's participation and voluntary action, and then what we as civil servants do, we are lobbying for the youth and their living conditions within the city. And there are some key regulations guiding our work. There are national level documents for, and the most important there is the Youth Act, the law on youth work. But that doesn't really provide our funding. Funding comes from the city, the local level. And the city strategy is very important to us. It's important to have youth work and youth-related things within the strategy. And then in our youth services, the idea is that how to influence, like on city and the national level, is by doing the work knowledge-based. We have like yearly surveys, and we also provide information on young people's well-being regularly all the time. And the core idea behind our work is our vision that all the city should be not only a good place for young people, but it should be a fun place. Because fun there means having friends, things to do, and being important to others. The youth budget is a way of planning things with young people. There is a big survey annually done in schools, and answered by young people from age 13 to 17. And that gathers information from wide range of young people. That's a big survey in our scale. Then we have like smaller groups, workshops with young people. They have the survey material, and they go through the survey results and make proposals. Like the idea is, what are we going to do next year? And that's done in several small groups all around the city. And then we ask young people to vote. Once again, gather a lot of young people together to vote in schools, which are the preferred proposals and what should we implement. And then we have like negotiations with groups of young people who are supporting those ideas. We have negotiations with them and with the city officials like me. And then we ask which ones are going to get which kind of funding, and we are trying to implement those things next year or even at the same year. The survey is so big these days that it kind of lives its own life. Although you see here like 9,000 respondents, that's not a big amount to like people in Tokyo, but that is 30% of young people living from that age group in Helsinki. And we get like 26,000 open question answers from them. So we need to use like artificial intelligence to provide the answers. But then we can also ask not only by hobbies, well-being, friends, but also about the neighborhoods and the safety, and the city planning uses this material also, not only us like youth work and education division. And each year we implement 50 to 80 projects that are coming straight from the youth budget and the young people's ideas. And that can be like camps, campaigns. That's always one of those key things. There's, for example, different kinds of campaigns against bullying and harassment. They come those ideas on a yearly basis, and also like visiting different places and so on. But even more important than the actual projects is the process of co-planning things with young people.
Thank you very much.